Miss Ufuoma, we're about to start and I can hear people in the background. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another special show on the DSA channel. And I'm Joshua AMATARE coming to you live from Kyiv. Today, we're going to have such a unique and special time. We're going to have Pastor Bose coming to join us today, and we're going to be enjoying a special time with a first-time author who's going to be talking to us about a unique topic on secrets to how teenage girls and ladies can maximize their lives. Guys, you don't want to miss this. Invite every lady you know, invite every mother you know, invite every father you know who has kids or who wants to have kids, and invite everyone that you know that would come in contact with a young person, a young girl. And I believe they're going to be able to learn a lot from what they're going to hear today, because there's an epidemic of chaos in our society due to young ladies who don't know what to do, and due to women or parents who don't know how to handle their teenage daughters. We have someone who has come up with a unique product, a book that would help to describe and to prescribe solutions to how people can solve this problem with teenage girls, help raise them right, help transform the way that they see things and the way they do things in the world, so they can become productive women, happy women, fulfilled women, and not just, biomasses in the society, or people who are never do well, so people who end up in rehabilitation homes or in jails. At least if you end up in rehabilitation homes, I think it's good, but end up addicted in jails and frustrated in life or committing suicide. So this topic today is something that is really important, and is one that I believe every single person needs to be a part of. So please share this link on your timeline, send it to your friends. You can watch us on YouTube or watch us on Facebook, but please make sure that you're watching us and you're getting every loved one of yours to join us today. So without much further ado, I'm going to be inviting our special guest today, all the way from the UK. Please welcome Mrs. Grace Ufuoma ANIGHORO. Hello, ma. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here today.
It's really good to have you here with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Fantastic. So we're going to be talking about your book, but first of all, we're going to be talking about ladies in general, and we're going to be talking about teenagers in general, but we're interested in your story. Can you please tell us, how exactly did you become passionate about young girls, and how did you come up with the idea of writing a book that you have now come up with that would help to raise good girls, or like you put it in your book, marvelous girls that society will be proud of and that can make a difference in their world and will make a difference in the kingdom of God as well?
Yeah. So, like you know already, I'm a woman. But before I became a woman, I was first a girl, and that is the usual introduction that I give. Mm-hmm. So before we became aunties, moms, grandmoms, we were first a girl, a young girl, young and free, beautiful, filled with so much hopes, filled with so much dreams, and filled with so much potential. Mm-hmm. But as that young girl is growing up, something happens along the line, and you begin to wonder, where is that girl? Where is that same girl that was filled with so much dreams, that had dreams and so much potential, that was manifesting a lot? What happened to that girl? And that is where my passion and my pain, for the girl comes in. Because as being a girl myself and growing up in a community of girls, in the book I told a bit of my growing up, being in a huge family of women, of lots of girls, and then having to attend an all-girls school. So it's like all my life I've just been surrounded with just, the group of girls. And, growing up in that kind, and also in a patriarchal society, you kind of lose your sense of worth as a girl, because as a girl, you are made to feel inferior. It's like there's no much that is attached to you for being a girl. And the general societal routine for the girl child is that, okay, when she grows up, she'll go to school. If possible, in some societies, the girl does not have any future, even going to school. So once she's a bit big, she just gets married and she's made to be a wife and raise children. Then in other societies where, okay, they have they have the schedule that, okay, when you finish secondary school, you go to university. Your life as a girl is still patterned out to be that once you finish, you marry, have children, and that seems to be the end of the girl child. And looking at all of this, the potential that I see in a lot of girls growing up, and now, coming years after, now wondering, well, what has happened to that girl? Like when you are in secondary school, there were a lot of girls that were manifesting so much gift, so much talent, so much potential. And then you see them down the years in life, and you begin to wonder, what happened to that girl? What happened to that girl? Because you just realize that so much potential has been lost because of the societal and cultural bias that has been placed on us. There's so much has been lost in that girl. And then when as women, when I begin to hear stories and meet with other women and begin to, to have this interaction, there is this lack of fulfillment and this sadness. And then when you begin to talk, the common phrase you begin to hear is that, I wish I knew this when I was younger. I wish I knew something like this when I was younger. Because as women, we find ourselves now trying to go into different seminars, different conferences, just to try and build ourselves up again. And you begin to wonder, like, okay, so if I knew something earlier, then my life would have, turned out differently. So the question is, what is it about growing up that we should know that will not make us to repeat the same phrase of, I wish I knew this earlier. I wish I had learned this earlier. So that became a passion for me. And when I look at these women, it's like, there is something we should have known growing up earlier. There is something society didn't do us well to keep some information from us. Because our life is just made to, the life for us is like, okay, just grow up, marry, have children, take care of your husband, and it's like that is it. But now we're beginning to realize that life is made for us, not even just for the girl child, but for every human. There is much more to life than just all of those mundane things. Our life we are here for a purpose. Our life is to be lived for a purpose. There is much more to it. And that's why even for the woman, even if you have married and you now have children, within a couple of years, at most maybe 20 years, you discover that, okay, I've done all of that. So what next? What next? So is life ending now because I fulfilled the role of a wife, mother, or career woman? Does life end? What is there to life? And that is where my passion for the girl child is. And looking at a lot of all of the things we see in society, the statistics that come, especially from young girls. One thing that shocked me when I first came to the UK, although I know growing up I was seeing a lot of these, was seeing very young girls pushing buggy. When coming into the UK, when I first saw that site, I'm like,
you said you saw many young girls doing what?
Pushing buggies with babies inside.
Okay, buggies. All right.
Yes,
okay.
So
the baby carrier.
Baby carrier.
Okay.
And I was looking at these girls. I'm like, seriously? Do you know the time of your life you're in now? That what are you doing? Why should you be? Because obviously you will see that they are not prepared for the role they are playing at that moment. Like babies trying to raise babies, and that also kind of really pained me. Like, at this time of your life, the best time for me, the teenage years are the best time of your life. The time for you to lay a good foundation. So. When I saw those little girls with babies, I'm like, oh my God, they don't know what they have done now. They don't know what they are doing. Why are you? This is the best time of your life to explore, to really come into yourself, to grow. You have not allowed yourself to grow. You have not allowed yourself to really discover your inner self. And now you are saddened with the responsibility of being a mom. So when I see all of that and see the rate, from the news, the rate of teenage depression, teenage suicide, because you go to these meetings and they tell you that a lot of our teenagers are, becoming so depressed. There is a problem of mental health issues among young people. You begin to question yourself, what is it in our society that we are getting wrong? What is it that we are not, doing to help our teenagers? Because right now it looks like, because of the way a lot of us as mothers are, we are trying to now catch up with the things that we should have done earlier. And because of that, we are not neglecting the younger generation. So there's a kind of disconnect. So why a mom is raising that girl child, she is also trying to actualize herself and become somebody and become something. And because of that, she cannot really connect with the young daughter that she's raising anymore. So there's just kind of a conflict. So
and you can't give what you don't have. So if you've not found yourself, how do you help raise somebody who will find themselves and live fulfilled lives?
Yeah, because you are also in the journey trying to find yourself. So there's just so much tension, so much conflict, and so much miscommunication in the house. And a lot of these young people, because of that disconnect, they go into depression. You hear reports of young people running away from home, and you hear reports of some of them just getting into the wrong hands and getting pregnant. And of course, when parents when they find that their children are pregnant, of course they want to do the safest thing to maintain their image and their status in society. So you go into abortions, and all of that is helping to kill the girl child even more. So, looking at all of these things, and that also kind of made me to start a kind of a work in my community, which is a club, what I call the Marvelous Girls Club. And in working with the girls in the club, if there is one thing that haunts me, and it's a very common phrase that I hear from the girls, and I always tell mom that this is the most common phrase I hear from young people, is that parents don't listen. That they don't listen. And I feel sad, even repeating it now, and it's kind of helping me to be very cautious, to also not be in that number of parents that don't listen. And that drives the children into themselves, and it drives these young people to find comfort among their own peers who will not even be in a position to guide them. They find relevance among their own peers who are not in a position to give them wisdom and knowledge.
All right.
And so it's kind of an evil circle, because at that age, at a young age, you are looking for validation, you are looking for acceptance. You are going through a lot, even as a young girl growing up. And that is another thing. The changes that happen in the life of a girl growing up means that sometimes she's not even in full control of herself. She's sometimes confused about the changes that are happening in her body. And she cannot speak because she doesn't feel like she has somebody to talk to. And so all of that makes it a very, a kind of traumatic period for the girl child. But as traumatic as that age of growing up can be, it can also be the best time in the life of a young person.
True. All right. You answered a lot more, so I just allowed you to keep going. So I'm glad that you're finally giving us a pause, so that I can chime in with a question. All right. Yeah. So you've given us a very comprehensive rundown of the experiences that you've had with young ladies, with young girls, and with young mothers, and older mothers too, who are struggling with their teenage kids. So ladies and gentlemen, please share this link so that people can come in and learn from this experience, learn from this topic that we're discussing today, and bring about unity in their families, in society. And we'll be a happier people if we have happier young girls, if we have girls who have a purpose and who are working towards a goal in life, and if we have parents who understand their teenagers better, who listen, like we heard, who understand how things are done and how to handle kids. And you can be sure that we'll have a more productive society and a more productive set of young people in our world today. All right, so my next question to you now is, what has been your experience in the Marvelous Girls Club that pushed you to write this book? Is it just the fact that people said, I wish I knew, so you said, all right, I'm going to write this book? Or was there some other inspiration behind it?
Okay, so why did I write this book? So every time I meet with a young person, and there is, especially when they have problems at home, and there's conflicts, especially between mother and daughter, sometimes the relationship can be very sweet, at other times it can be very volatile. And the lack of understanding of what is happening in the life of the girl, and also the lack of empathy from the parents, it can be a very sad situation to be, because the thing is, you made a statement just now, you cannot give what you don't know. And for a lot of us, of course, the general statement we all make is that parenting does not come with a manual. But even as much as we say that, the truth is that a lot of us, are not prepared for the roles that we take
True.
In life. So you see even you see somebody trying to get married, and it's like they just know that they want to get married, but there's no preparation.
Correct.
You are not trying to get knowledge. You're not trying to get as much information as you can get before that marriage. And the same thing happens when they want to you are carrying a baby, you are pregnant, but it looks like you are not even prepared for what it takes to actually nurse a baby to full term, and then all of the other things that have to go in between. So the same thing also raised. So it's like you see that kind of how will I call it?
Vacuum.
A kind of vacuum, a kind of vacuum. And I think even in society, like here in the UK, they have noticed that. And because they've noticed that, they have started forming parenting classes.
All right.
Because they've noticed that it's like a lot of people are trying to be parents, but they are not prepared to be parents. They don't know how to parent. And so to support homes and support, you start having parenting classes. So, but for me, while we're trying to deal with the mom, I'm more concerned about that girl.
All
and
right.
in the book, there is a place I wrote about the misconceptions that we have about young girls.
Okay.
When I'm working with these girls, what I realize is that our young people are brilliant. Our young people are smart. They know a lot.
More than they let on.
Yes, they know so much that you will be shocked, because sometimes it's like you think you're going to teach them something, but they know a lot. But with what they know is that lack of direction and putting it in the right context. So for me, it's more of guidance.
All right.
More of mentoring. They're trying to make sure that they put it in the right context.
All
because if you attempt to treat them like they don't know, you'll be shocked at how much they know, even more than you do. And the advantage that this generation of children have is that they have access to information.
Oh yeah.
So much more than we didn't have in our own time.
Yeah, it's literally in the palm of their hands all the time.
It's in their hands. They have access. So there is nothing you want to even begin to start to say. They already know where they help you. They know. So to assume that they don't know is wrong. It's an error.
Correct.
And when I noticed that, what I told myself is that if I, as a young girl of 11, 12, could come to a place where I started taking responsibility for my life, I believe that the young girl of today should be able to take responsibility for her life. And we need to be able to support them and give them the wings to be able to do that. They need to be able to do that by giving them the right information, by empowering them, and giving them all the tools and the skills they need to equip them to be the women that they should be. Because they can. That's correct. They just need to believe that they can. And that is where my passion is, for me, it's like, okay, we say there are things we should have known. What are these things that we should have known when we were younger? What if these girls of today know this?
Yeah. How much better off would they be?
Sorry?
I said, how much better off would they be?
Would they be, you understand? So for me, it's really, catching them young early, giving them this knowledge early, so that they don't stumble into life and into being adults like biomasses, like they are actually prepared for life. They are actually equipped for life. They are empowered for life. Because if we don't do that, we are going to repeat a cycle of damaged and broken women in society. And for me, the role of a woman in society is very vital. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. So her role as a mother, as a wife, as a career woman, as whoever she wants to be, if she's equipped for it, then she will become even more of a contribution, more of an asset to the society. So that is why I wrote the book, because I just believe that knowledge is power.
True.
And if I look at myself and I look at my experiences and I look at where I'm coming from, I don't look like where I have been or where I'm coming from. And I think the only reason why it is like that is because of information, because of knowledge. And if the girl of today can be equipped with the knowledge and the skills, the information that she needs, she's going to stand out in life. She's going to be a strong woman. She's going to be a strong woman. And the thing I say most times with parents is like, the values and the information we give our children, they are, we call them principles of life. They are like anchors. they are like anchors that help her, you know, like they are the framework of her life, the skeleton that holds her together. And this anchor needs to be really strong. Because the thing is, when you are not going to be there forever as a parent, you are not going to be with them as a parent. At most 18. By the time they are 18 and they leave the house, the truth is that life will test them. Challenge which will come. The pressures will come. But when life tests and challenges and pressures come, will she stand? She can be smart, brilliant, intelligent, best in her class, A student, but when the trials and challenges and pressures of life come, will she stand? Because that is where we see the pain of most parents. Mm-hmm. You see this bright, beautiful, everything going well for her, and then probably she gets into a university and the crisis happens.
She falls in love, and then she becomes like a totally different person.
Different person. That is where the crisis. So it's trying to make that girl to be so equipped and to have her anchor in place, so that no matter what life throws at her, because she has come to recognize who she is, she has developed herself, she has recognized her worth, she has been able to walk through her identity and know that exactly it doesn't matter what comes her way, she's able to stand.
All right. Fantastic.
That is my passion about writing the book, putting this in the hands of every girl child, to know that you are not, you can be responsible, and with this information you don't have any excuse.
And to make them know as well that they are not alone, because I got the feeling when you were writing it that you were trying to form a relationship with them, talk to them. It's so easy to read, and it's something that makes them feel like, you know, there's somebody helping guide them through, who is a friend,
exactly.
who is a mentor, and who has gone through what they've been through. So what they're going through is not unique or is not strange per se.
Exactly. And I didn't quite realize that, until I started reading the reviews, because I got a group of early readers from 18, 17, a wide range, even to 40 something. Okay. And what you said now was it was so amazing, from what one of the young girls said. Like, she said that this book, let me see if I can quickly read that. She said that this book is like your oldest, how did she put it? I don't want to quote it out of line.
Okay.
Yeah, she said this book is like listening to advice from a big sister if you've never had one.
That's nice. That's a big compliment right there from a teenager.
That's 20. She said she could feel the love and the concern and everything. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that I was putting in that much,
Yeah, because the passion you show and the love that you have, it comes through as you write. I think those emotions are contained in the words you used and the way you phrase things. And I believe that anyone who reads it and genuinely wants to learn will feel the same thing as well.
Yeah, and another one, the same thing. She was another person entirely, different person entirely, still used those same words, and she was so excited. And when she was sharing with me, she almost brought me to tears, because she said she was crying, because of the things she was learning, and it was kind of fitting into what she was going through at that time. And this other young girl too, she was just 20 years old. Mm-hmm. She's a third-year student in university, and it was really refreshing and kind of fulfilling to hear those kind of feedback, that they really listened, and they could see that it's like having a big sister that they didn't have.
That's great. And I really enjoyed reading the book, because I pastored for a few years before I met Pastor Sunday, and then began to take on a new form of pastoring and understanding and knowledge. And I can assure you that some of the most difficult people I met were teenagers who came to school, who were very good girls in quote, and I probably didn't see them for a month, and the next time I saw them, they were like completely different people. So this book helped me to understand a lot of the things that they might have gone through, because at the time, I didn't really do research into what was going on. I just saw it as a phase that they were passing through, that probably everybody needs to go through every now and then. But your book really helps to put things in perspective, that some of those things don't need to happen, and some of those things can be it can be remedied before they go out of hand. Because I can tell you several stories of girls who came. I saw them as people who could do anything in the world, and then before you know it, they either got pregnant, started having abortions. Some of them moved out of the hostel into the house of boys. Some people completely stopped coming to church. Some of them were completely transformed. Like, I saw people who came radiant and who were beautiful and who were so colorful. And after a while, I saw them, they were so gloomy. It was hard to get them to even talk. These are people who, when they walk into the room, you will notice them because they were so flamboyant, they were so free, they were so energetic, but they fell into the wrong group of people, and suddenly things were changed. So I believe that this book is something that will go a long way to solve these problems. And a lot of parents are worried of what their kids will do when they leave home. So I think this book is a solution. If you can get your child to go through this book when they're still with you, you will be assured that when they leave, these words and these principles, these values will be imbibed in them, and it will help them to be able to stand the test of time. Because when I saw those ladies, one thing I realized was they were from good homes, they were good, but like you said, they were not ready for some challenges that were to come. They were not ready for the hard-hitting stuff of life that comes at you, because life is tough. When you grow up in a guarded environment, you never know that things can be different. But when you go out there into the world and you begin to quickly realize that you were naive and there's some things that you don't know, so many times you learn from your own experience. But like your book says, it's best to learn from others instead of going through these experiences yourself. So I believe this book is really going to go a long way to do that for a lot of ladies. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want to pre-order this book, it is cheap right now. I think it's about £1. The links are up there on Facebook and on YouTube. They've been pinned to the top, so please click on them. You have the link on Amazon, you have the link on Okada Books, and you can also order the hard copy. So please place your orders right now so that when the book comes out in October, you'll be able to get it for just £1. I can assure you that the solutions that you're going to get from this book, £10,000 would not be able to solve them if you don't solve them right now. I can tell you that there are parents who are willing to pay $50,000 if they can get their teenage daughters back from addiction, from the hands of drug addicts, from the hands of bad gangs. They're willing to pay whatever it takes. So £1 is nothing compared to the lessons you will learn from this book. So please go and pre-order it right now. The links are on top of your page on Facebook and on YouTube. Click on it, pre-order it, so that when it comes out, you get it. You're able to read it and spread it around. All right, so back to you, Ms. Ufuoma. What are the most challenging things that you've seen in specifics now? Because you talk about a lot of topics here. You talk about how to discover yourself. You talk about drugs. You talk about alcohol. You talk about addictions. You talk about boyfriends. Now, what are some of these things that you've seen that are the most prevalent problems that young people face today? And also, before I go into that, I want to commend you on not being over-religious, because you're somebody who grew up in church, and you have the tendency to want to be spiritual about everything. So I saw that you didn't over-spiritualize things. So let me ask you about that before we go into the problems and the solutions. How were you able to break out of religion and just thinking that it was the devil who has taken away some of these girls? Because I can assure you that back then in Nigeria, when a child starts misbehaving in their teenage years, we don't see it as a phase. We don't see it as something that is natural due to the changes that you spoke about in their body. We immediately ascribe it to demons, we ascribe it to witches, we ascribe it to oppression, and we just spiritualize everything. So how were you able to break out of this religious mindset of it is a spiritual attack to seeing that these things are psychological, some of them are physiological, and some of them are just natural?
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm so glad that you asked that question, because and that is the struggle I've always had with also relating with young people, especially when you have a strong religious background and you're among religious people. Most of us as parents, we tend to feel that, let's just pray more. Let's just be praying for her. Just be praying for that stubbornness. You bind and you begin to talk about the spirit of stubbornness, the spirit of So, but I thank God, and also I must mention here that I will forever be grateful for Dr. Sunday Adelaja for meeting him, because when I came in contact with Dr. Sunday, a lot of the things that I have known and I couldn't really put a name to them. I couldn't put them in concept, but he helped me to understand all of this knowledge, all of these things that I've been living with. but I couldn't really put to words. Listening to Pastor Sunday and his teachings and everything was now helping me to understand, okay, this is why I'm like this. This is what I have. This is a principle. This is a value. He helped me to name them. Prior to that, it was like, okay, I just knew some things, but I couldn't really put them into words exactly, what it is that I know. But listening to him, because it was also in listening to Pastor Sunday that I also understood, my purpose. It was also, that was when I could understand, I was able to discover my purpose. And that was when a lot of things began to make sense. I began to understand why I am the way I am, why I am different from other people, why I hate this and why I love this. So all of that really helped to help me construct my own message of what to give. So it was no longer just going to be about religion, because a lot of the things that I came to learn in life, when I look at it, it's not just about reading, knowing the Bible and knowing how to read, but just people, other people, in my life, words of wisdom from here and then from books, a lot of books, a lot of reading. And I even mentioned that I even learned from music, even listening from music. I didn't know what all of these things were called, but Pastor Sunday made me understand that these were principles. All of these things I was picking up here and there were principles, and they became my own guiding light in life. So to be able to reach the girls anywhere in the world, I wasn't going to come in that, because I need this message, because this message is vital for every girl. It doesn't matter which part of the world. You could be in Saudi Arabia, you could be in Iraq, you could be in somewhere down in Cameroon, in Africa. This message is vital for every young girl to be able to, imbibe these values, these principles, to be strong women of tomorrow.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I applaud you for really being able to distill those principles into what you put out there for us today that anyone can relate to, because you don't have to be a Christian to be able to read this book and understand what it is that is written. So you really wrote a book for the society. You really, imbibed the essence principles of the kingdom, which doesn't have to have God or speaking in tongues in it, but principles are how the kingdom of God, or how we disciple nations, and how the kingdom of God spreads. And I believe that that's something that a lot of people need to learn if they're going to really be able to make an impact in the world. Because right now you're going to be an author who will be able to interact with society in such a way that they would appreciate the values you bring, even if they don't know the source. And like you said before, you were interacting with these things, but you didn't know what they were. And I think it's going to go a long way to help people to imbibe these principles and eventually to lead them to God, because you cannot really embody these principles without knowing the creator at the end of the day. Yeah. So it's something that is really going to help bring a lot of people to the knowledge of God and help them to live lives according to his calling. So you talked about your purpose. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you discovered your purpose? Because I believe that's one of the major problems that we have in the world today. A lot of young people don't know their purpose, and you ended up finding yours out much later in life. Thank God you met Pastor Sunday, or else you would have still just been going around, with these frustrations. And from what I read in the book, you always had that passion for young people, because I remember you said you were the head of the press club, and when you were leaving school, you were a little bit touched that those who were coming behind didn't have enough training. They didn't have some of the lessons that you learned, and because the system was changing. And you didn't know how to help them. So it shows that this seed has been on the inside of you for a while, but you were not able to actualize them. So talk to us briefly about how you were able to find your calling and how you were able to begin to actualize it.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was something that, I didn't realize was in there in me. And also being surrounded by a lot of girls, cousins, nieces, just girls all over. I always find myself in that position of trying to inform, trying to advise, trying to educate. Even among my friends, I always find myself in that position. And like you said, because the school system was changing, when I was leaving school, I had this strong pull, like I needed to do something. But I was already leaving school, so I was like, what am I supposed to do? My focus was just how to, get admission and go into university. But I didn't realize that was a seed that was being planted in my heart. And I didn't think that I could do anything about it, because even when I went into university, I saw the pain that a lot of parents had to go through, because their young daughters that would just come into university first year, and then there was actually a case where the mom, she almost fainted because the daughter was complaining that she had stomach pain, and they had to take her from school. And she just came for a pre-degree course. She was not even in university yet. She just came for a pre-degree course, and she was complaining of stomach pain. And they brought her to my elder sister. There run a diagnosis lab. And they brought her there to just do a scan to see what was happening in her tummy. And the scan confirmed that she was pregnant. This woman fell from her chair. This is a deaconess in church, children, everything. And I look at this girl, and she couldn't pinpoint one person. She didn't know one person that could possibly be responsible for the pregnancy. That was the most painful part. So it's like she just came into school and she became
promiscuous. She just started sleeping with several guys to the point that she didn't know who
everybody was having a free ride with her, and that really pained me. And I see, not even from a lot of people that even back in secondary school, you see very, the top of the class, very intelligent, the freedom that sphere, that university system gives a lot of girls, they can't handle it. They can't handle it just because the core values they needed to have, the self-identity they needed to possess, they don't have it. So they get lost in that sea of freedom that the university environment gives. And I was looking at this thing, I was feeling painful. Of course, I was going through my own pressures of boys and everything. They were all still, but I was looking like, oh my God, I didn't know that the reason why I was feeling those pain and all of that. I had roommates that were very from wealthy families, and you don't even you ask yourself, why are you doing this? It's not like you lack money. It's not like you are from a poor home. Why don't you just focus on your education? Why are you allowing yourself? They get themselves so depressed. They are not happy doing what they are doing, but it's like they can't stop. They can't stop. And it's not like if you say, okay, this person is doing it probably because the parents don't have money, so they are playing around, they are not taking their school education serious. But you have everything going for you, and yet just because you don't understand, yourself, you don't have values in yourself, you are just letting yourself being destroyed. And you see people, some of them, they end up just getting into depression, having to come back and not finish it. There's sometimes you just hear that some people went out and some didn't come back because they've been involved in an accident. They've been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Things just happen. I didn't understand why I was seeing all of that and feeling those pain. And I lived with this thing and started having night dreams about them. Very strange kind of dream that will always get me upset. That because I will always be going back to my young teenage years in secondary school. I didn't understand what it was all about. And every time I had those dreams, I felt it was God, spiritual attack. Somebody's trying to drag my life back. I didn't know that God was reminding me that you have a place with the young people. You have a place with the young people. That is why I'm bringing. Until I met Pastor Sunday and I started listening to the Purpose and Calling series. It was then I said, oh my God. So, because when I came into the UK and I had that dream again, I was so upset. Like, why am I still having this? What is this? But immediately I listened to that message and I started working in that purpose. This is more than 3 years now, I've never had that dream again. And I'm so, I became so happy, discovery. I think that's the best miracle anybody can have in life. The miracle of self-discovery, of discovery of purpose. That is the great.
I think they go hand in hand. When you discover yourself, you discover your purpose.
Your purpose, yeah. It's such a, I was so, it's like having my own born again experience again for the second time. That was how it was for me. I was so happy. I was just so happy, like, okay, now I understand. This is it. This is why I keep having these dreams. And I thought the enemies were after me and they are trying to drag my life back.
Wow. Incredible. So it was just God's way of reminding you that there is something you're supposed to be doing in the world that you're not yet doing. And it took you over 35 years to figure it out. And I feel
so sad because it's had to go on for a long time. And I'm looking at, oh my God, I wish, I started this much earlier. Sometimes I feel sad, but I know that he's always in control and he makes everything work out for good.
That's correct. And I think that this is a strong message to everyone out there who is listening, that whatever thing you're having as a passion within you, it is not too late to begin to discover it And some of the dreams you're having, some of the visions you're having, they are not oppressions from the devil. It is God or your being trying to point you in the right direction to the problems that you're supposed to be solving in society. So please get the books, Who Am I, Why Am I Here by Dr. Sunday Adelaja. And you can also go on his YouTube channel and go through the Purpose and Calling series. It will help you to understand yourself better. It will help you to understand your purpose better. It will make you to understand why you've even experienced some of the things that you've experienced in life. And sometimes you might have asked yourself that, why is this happening to me? You'll be able to get answers from that series. You'll also be able to understand why you were born where you were born, in the country you were born, in the family you were born. All of these things are attached to your calling. So I believe that anyone who is burdened or anyone who has not discovered their purpose yet, that is something that you can absolutely take advantage of. The book, Who Am I, Why Am I Here? And the series on YouTube. And there's also a mentorship group right now titled Who Am I, Why Am I Alive? This is a mentorship that would help you to discover yourself. Dr. Sunday would help guide you through the process of self-discovery, purpose discovery, and to make you into somebody who will be able to influence society positively, like our guest, Miss Ufuoma, all the way from the UK, is doing today. She's been able to write a book. She's been able to start a club. She's now positively influencing lives, and things are no longer the same. So before we bring in Pastor Bose to talk to us about the book, the title is Hey Girl. So can you talk to us, how did you come up with that topic, Hey Girl? That's such an unusual topic.
So when I was writing the book and I was writing the first draft, initially I wasn't quite sure. I knew that I wanted to write a book about how teenage girls can maximize their teenage years.
All right.
But we needed, so I was like, okay, I need a catchy phrase, but I wasn't quite sure what that was going to be. So as I was writing the draft and just keep writing, I think it was one of my editors that noticed that you're using this phrase a lot, because I really wanted to get personal with the girl.
Okay.
So I kept using Hey Girl, because like you say, it's what is in your heart you are pouring out. I really, because when I sit with them in the club, I see them like, these are my younger sisters. These are people that I really want to see a change in their life. So it was there, it dawned on me that, okay, why don't I use this as the title? So that was how I just quoted that as the title.
Right. And it's a common way that they greet themselves, by the way. They're always like, hey girl this, hey girl that.
Yeah,
okay. So that means the title came after you started writing the book, not before. An interesting dynamic.
Yeah, after I started writing the book, after I went through the first draft, I noticed that flow and I said, okay, I'm going to keep it like that. The title, yeah.
All right, so Pastor Bose is going to be joining us now. But before then, please, if you want to order this book, it's available for pre-order right now on Amazon, on Okada Books, and the hard copy is also available. The links are up there in the comment section of this video on Facebook and also on YouTube. Just click on those links and get this book just for £1. When by the time the book is officially released, the price goes up. So you want to take advantage of this opportunity to get this book for yourself, order it for your friends, because this can be the best gift that you'll give to your friends. You give to that teenager, you give to that lady who is going off to school, or you give to that young mother who is about to start raising kids, or you can even give to a mother whose child is about to enter the teenage years, or a mother who is currently battling with her teenage daughter, not knowing how to handle the challenges that they're facing. This book is going to serve as a solution to that problem. So please do someone a favor today by giving them this book, and also do yourself a favor by informing yourself, getting this book for yourself, and making sure that you have all of the knowledge that is in it, so that you're a more effective person and you're somebody who will make a difference in society. So let's welcome Pastor Bose to the show today, and she's our very special guest. So hello, Pastor Bose, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good evening or good day or good morning, wherever you are, and good job, Sister Ufuoma, for the
Thank you.
done, because writing a book is hard work. It's not as easy as we might think of it. So thank you for putting in the hard work and going through and producing these products that will live forever. Even after you are gone, it will remain and it will continue to be a blessing to many people. And thank you, Pastor Joshua, for moderating this show. I've been listening since the beginning, and it's been awesome. It's been encouraging, and I want to continue from where you stopped. That I would also recommend this book, because there are a lot of books in the world. Some are good, some are average, and some are really bad, because through words and through books we pass across what is inside us. But this is a book that one can recommend to girls of all ages, old, because you're forever young, right?
Yeah.
The body, might change, but the spirit, the person you are inside is always young, ever green. So this book is for everybody. It's for everybody. So it's a good product there that I would also recommend to be given out as gifts to any girl. It's really a good work you've done.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Pastor Bose, for that tremendous endorsement. I believe that Ms. Ufuoma is elated by that. And we would like to now go into some of the points written in the book. What was your biggest takeaway from this book, Hey Girl?
Thank you. Before then, I also want to anchor on what you said earlier about Sister Ufuoma's passion being visible, being seen. She was able to pass across her vision, in the book. And even the first chapter was, why am I passionate? You could really see the connection. You could really see that she was really passing out her heart. So I saw the passion. And another takeaway that I got for myself is the fact that knowledge, actually this is not from the book, this is from what you just discussed. When Sister Ufuoma was saying, when you start talking to girls, you find out that they know a lot. But knowledge is different from insight. And you guys spoke about, knowledge being very accessible now. It's in the palm of the hand. But yeah, we have a lot of knowledge. But the elderly woman, the elderly men have the responsibility of helping these people to transform knowledge into insights. We have to do everything in our power to help them to drop the knowledge from a head knowledge to become a heart knowledge, because that is when they will do it. I'm sure in life we come across people when you start to consult them or to just give them some advices, they will tell you, I know, but I cannot do it. When you have insight, then you have the power to do what you need to do. But the takeaway, the highlight moments for me in the book is how beautifully you painted the life, the purpose of a girl. Beautiful. The word is the scope. She's awesome. She's talented. She can be anything she wanted to be. And that is very important, because in my studies, and also I'm a girl and I work with other people, I find out that girls and women also, we often have problem with self-esteem. If men have problem with exaggeration, they over-exaggerate their self-esteem. Man, a boy, and I think it's something natural. Maybe they needed it to woo over a girl. Maybe they needed it to be always motivated. So you see, when a guy, is approaching a girl, he will describe himself as the king of the whole world. I will do this, I will do this. He may have no penny in his pocket, and he will say anything. He will over-exaggerate who he is, what he is. Whereas for ladies, we always, most of the time, we under-exaggerate. And that under-exaggeration comes from our self-esteem. Men naturally, all things being equal, they have high self-esteem, whereas the girls, the ladies, they have low self-esteem. So you painting and trying to bring out the germ in them, telling them, look at yourself, you are this, you can be this, is very, very important, because they need that as water on a dry land. And for anybody who works with girls, you must always know this, that girls, they need constant encouragement. Of course, some bad boys use that in a bad way. And you also spoke about girls, that comes in to study in different places, promising, but they fell into the wrong hand. And even these bad boys, they still use the same thing. They still use this motivation. You are beautiful, you are lovely. Oh, look at your nails, look at your eyes, look at it. But for their own purpose. But it's so serene and it's so wonderful to see another girl, another woman with no string attached, saying these things, not because you wanted something from the girls, but you really wanted them to feel good and to be in a position to become themselves, where then they can be in a position to become the best version of themselves. So I was really impressed about that.
All right,
And
fantastic.
if I must say, Pastor Bose, the problem of self-esteem and self-confidence for the girl is an ongoing thing, right from when puberty starts, from 10 when she starts seeing her menstrual period, her confidence is dented. The self-consciousness that comes with the fact that, oh, my body is changing, is already doing a lot in her head. And when you are in an environment where you are not being affirmed, where you are now being made to feel less of yourself, that is even going to really kill your self-esteem even the more. And so even when you are 30, you are 40, you just keep seeing there are things in life that will happen that will always dent the self-confidence and the self-esteem of the girl child. And what I try to do in the book is making the girl understand that whatever you're feeling, all of these phases, is because your body is changing. It's a phase that will pass, and you don't need to let that define you and make you lose yourself of your sense of high esteem, your sense of worth. And I think for us as guests to actually know this will help us, because it's like we keep I think any mother, any person will know that with your child, the more you keep affirming them, the better and the more confident they get, and the more sense of worth and self-esteem that they carry. So when you begin to punish them, like when they are going through those troublesome years of their adolescence period, where their bodies are changing, when you don't have that information to guide them and help them understand, it will help to really damage your self-esteem. And I keep telling mothers, don't think that she's crying because she wants to get something. Something is happening to her. She's confused. Her head, because it's a phase I also went through. Sometimes you don't even understand why you are moody. You don't even understand. Your mom talks to you, you just snap. It's not because she wants to do it, but something is happening. And so when you begin to now abuse her, you are this, you are that. You are just helping to... You're helping to damage her. You're helping to destroy her completely. So it's helping the girl to understand, and also hoping that parents will understand this phase to really be there in their corner and not use it against them.
Absolutely.
Amazing insight. I'm enjoying this because I'm learning a lot from the both of you. And I want to ask Pastor Bose a question based on something she said. She said knowledge and insight. So how do you transform knowledge to insight, and how do you help break this trend of saying I know it, but doing it is difficult? Because I heard that all the time back then when I was pastoring. You see people who come from Christian homes, they were born into the ministry, their parents are pastors, leaders, very religious people, so they know the Bible. There is basically nothing you can tell them about the Bible that they've not been taught at home, in church, and in school, because they didn't just go to church. They were taught at home and then they went to Christian schools. But here they are going the opposite direction of what they've been taught. So how do you think that we can help to transform knowledge to insight? And then we'll also get Miss ANIGHORO's intake on that as well.
Oh, thank you very much. Before I answer your question, I also want to say something in line with the body of a girl changing. Okay. Actually, the body changes all the time, only it's very drastic during the puberty season. And I have to teach myself to celebrate menstruation because, I just noticed that it's very rare when menstruation is celebrated. In talks, it's connected, in many talks, it's connected to pain. It's connected, my menstruation have started, and in this area, even in Russian language, there's something you call is an accident. You rarely hear anybody talking about menstruation in a joyful way. It's like, I'm having cramps, my menstruation started, la la la. It's like it's an hindrance. Yeah. But when I started, just studying girls, studying myself, I found out that menstruation is one of the best things that can happen in life. One is it's a way that we bring, children to this world. It's connected to the reproductive system. Now, apart from that, it's a wonderful cleansing system. Yeah, because we know that menstruation is a way where our body gets rid of the unfertilized eggs, but together with the unfertilized egg, we also get toxins out of our bodies. Yeah, so that's why most of the time women are healthier than men, because they have more outlet, to get things out of their body, apart from the urinary system, they also have this monthly system where if they cleanse, if they work hard, also they can get a lot of toxins out of their bodies. So when I understand, that God creates everything nice, everything beautiful, so I taught myself, to celebrate menstruation. So every time I have my menstruation, I'm happy. I'm happy not because I'm not pregnant, right? But I'm happy because, my body is functioning. It reminds me of, of life, that, I have the ability, to bring life, to this world. So I love it. Some older ladies, they will tell you, I can't wait when my menstruation ends, but I pray that my menstruation lasts longer, than for any average woman, because I've learned to love it. I've learned to see, the good part of it. But, I had to teach myself, I had to, nobody, taught me. And I think we hardly celebrate when our children, see or get their first menstruation. We don't take them to restaurants. We don't celebrate it. And when I was growing up, I wasn't free enough to discuss these things with my parents. I was always trying to hide when I had menstruation, but I thank God that my girls are free. We can talk about it, and they can talk with me freely about it. Nothing to hide. So that's very good. Then coming to Pastor Joshua's question, how to transfer knowledge that is very abundant to insight. We need to teach girls and virtually everybody practical knowledge, not just lecture. It's hard for people to get insight, because most of the knowledge we get across to people, especially in Christian organization, is it's just theoretical knowledge. But we need somebody to open up, we need somebody to break it down. We need somebody to show you, the practicality of it, not just you must do this, you must do it. When somebody really sees, there's a phrase, I see, I understand. So we should try to make our teachings as practical as possible. So it's not enough for you to tell somebody not to drink. It's not enough for you to tell somebody not to go out late. You must explain why you are saying that. We must all become lawyers. We must all become, advocates. Why? The reasons. You bring a lot of facts, historical facts. What could happen? Look at this, look at this, look at this. It happens to this person, she went out, things like that. So when we have enough facts, then it's easier to make judgment. That's how it is in jurisdiction, right? When you have enough facts, when you're able to prove beyond any doubt, then everybody will admit, and most of the people will accept, the point you are trying to make. So I think we as elders, we as leaders, I think we should revisit the way we pass across knowledge. There are a lot of knowledge, but we have to try our best to pass practical knowledge. Of course, another way of passing knowledge, translating knowledge to insight, is when you the best teacher is example, and it's your personal example. It's not the example of your neighbor. It's not the example of any other person. It's your personal example, your personal responsibility before your generation, before your sisters, before your friends. So when we leave it out, when we celebrate chastity, when we celebrate decency, when we celebrate modesty, that is an example, for people. Okay, it's working for Pastor Bose. I'm not the last person in the room. So if I'm not the last person in the room and trying to live by my values, I'm trying to live my dreams, I'm trying to live my purpose, that sends a wave, that sends a message, and at least people have a role model, to follow. But if all our role models are people who trade their values, then it will be very difficult, because everybody knows. And we also have a saying, talk is cheap. We have to show it. We have to show it by example. So I think when we become more practical, and when we break it down more, when people see the fact, I think it will help them to translate most of this knowledge to insights.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Pastor Bose. Ms. Ufuoma, do you want to add to that? I just heard something for the very first time, celebrate menstruation. I'm shocked by that. Because even if I'm not a lady, I grew up close to my sister who was always having it, and we knew the struggles we went through. So that's something that I'm sure a lot of ladies would like to listen to. It's a unique insight that I've never heard before. So please go ahead and give us your own input.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I needed Pastor Bose to be here today, because for me, she's a role model and she's a strong woman. And, like what she said is, that is just right. Because like I said, a lot of these girls, they know a lot. They have information on the palms of their hands. But is that, like you said, transferring knowledge to insight, making it practical, giving them that guidance, so that they don't just take that knowledge and it doesn't mean anything to them, but being able to break it down so that they can apply it to their lives. And that is why I feel that for us women of this, we owe it to the younger people. And even the Bible encourages us to teach the younger ones. And that is something that we are not doing. I don't think we're doing enough of that. Because even in the family setting, we don't have conversations. We pass instruction, but we don't have deep conversation. And I hold a program in the community. I call it a date with mom. And I encourage mom, share your story with your children. The more details your daughter knows of your life, the stronger she will be. Oh, someone would think that, their daughters, they want to be like them or whatever. Are you really being the role model that your daughter wants to copy? Because if you ask some of them deeply, they will say, I don't want to be like my mom. I don't want to be like my mom. But the truth is that if they are not careful, they are going to end up exactly like their mom, because that is the example that they see. True. That is the only example that they see. So we need to be more practical. We need to have this conversation. We need to open up ourselves to these young people. We need to open up. The more details the daughter knows of a mother's life, the stronger she will be. She will be able to, those things that you don't like, that you did, she will be able to navigate out of them because you have opened up to her. But when you just allow her to, you just feel that you have spoken and there's no deep conversation, it will just be there. It's not practical because she can't see it in you. She can't see the example. So we need to do more of that. And, talking about menstruation, having the reason why a lot of girls' confidence are dented when they are, is because we treat it like it's something dirty, like it's not normal. And so it makes me, for a young person, because society they don't talk about that. So you feel so ashamed. True. And if I tell you what that shame made me lose as a young girl, you'll be shocked. Just not accepting the fact that this is part of my life and it's okay, it stopped me from sport. That stopped me from sport. I couldn't go into competitive sport just because I couldn't accept the fact that I'm a girl and I have to go through this and it doesn't look nice to be going through that. So we need to have more open conversation about the things that make us women, that make us and accept them for what they are. And I'm so glad, I really needed Pastor Bose to be here because she is somebody that embodies a lot of the values that even though I'm writing a book for other people that will probably be looking up to me, I look up to her. I see her as a model, of somebody that is able to, carry value and virtue that I desire all the time. And we need more strong. I see her as a strong woman, and we need more strong women that we're able to stand in, life pressures and challenges. No matter what, you are still able to stand and keep your head high. And so with the more of us that are able to come out and keep having this conversation with the younger ones, the more we're able to leave, a legacy for the young generation that to carry on in life.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing it from two women of virtue. and two women who have gone through the process and are now giving us wisdom that would help to transform us. So please share this link. And if you want to get the book, in fact, at this point, it should not be if, it should be get this book right now. Go to the top of the comment section. You'll see the links. Click on them. Pre-order it right now. It's cheaper. It's just £1. The knowledge you're going to get
Joshua,
from
it's £1.99, not £1.
Oh, £1.99. Sorry, £1.99. And the knowledge you're going to get, trust me, is going to be worth thousands of pounds. I can assure you that a lot of parents would give thousands to get their kids back and to get some of these lessons imbibed in their young daughters if they could. So it's better to be safe than sorry. They said there's a popular saying, prevention is better than cure. Our ladies need to be helped. Our teenage daughters need to be helped. And I believe that as we do that, we'll be better off for it. All right. So please, back to our host and Pastor Bose. So I wanted to talk about some of the topics that were brought up and the ones that you felt needed to be discussed the most, because you've talked about self-esteem, you've talked about the way the body changes, but Ms. Ufuoma also spoke about lots of other things in the book, like, your friends. She talked about alcohol. She talked about embracing your uniqueness. She talked about finding your purpose. So which topic do you think that ladies need to understand the most that would help set them up for every other thing that has been written? Because there are some foundational principles that are most important that would help inform how they do other things in life and how they imbibe all the other principles. So which foundational principles do you think young ladies need to get from this book?
Okay, I would also like to really mention, underline, highlight the way Miss Ufuoma really showed the benefits, the advantages of the teenage years.
All right.
As a teenager, you are still under your parents or guidance, covering. You don't really need to worry about many things other than the things you create for yourself. Somebody covers your clothing, your food, your education,
your housing,
begging you to come and eat, to come and do things. So she really, I like the way she wrote it, that take advantage of this time, seize this opportunity. And I have a picture in my head now. Some years back, we used to have some people coming for HMT, for different programs from African countries. And when they get here, because you have data, you have internet 24/7. It's a little bit different than it is in many African countries. So they are here, and they download a lot of things, and they will tell me, oh, I'm doing it here because in my country, in Africa, it will cost a lot of money. It will take a lot of time. The internet here is fast, is good. So I mean, it's a picture of having a very good internet, and when you can download things fast, than waiting for you to get older. Now you have to feed yourself, you have to take care of other things, because in your book, as I was reading the book, then I said, oh, I hope these girls see that responsibilities grow as you grow. Challenges grow as you grow. So when the weight is still less, why not seize the opportunity to discover your purpose, to discover your dream? And you also gave the algorithm of how people can find their passion, what they like to do, invest the time therein. And we have a lot of examples in history of those who started very young. They caught their passion young, they caught their dream young, they started working on it young, and they became stars, they became champion. One of them is Serena Williams. The dad started playing tennis with her from 3 years old, and she just plays it. And now I think she's approaching 40, and she's still competing. Yeah, because she started very young. And but also we have to notice that the guardian, the parent, they helped her. Apart from, she had to show delayed gratification, which is also in the book. But I just loved, the way you carve it out, the way you underline it. And I hope people will get that why you are still in your parents' home, why somebody is still asking you, are you eating? Are you okay? Hey, I beg, seize the opportunity because evil days are coming.
Yes.
Evil days are coming.
All right. I love that
so
because
glad.
some of my friends used to, there's a popular saying among my friends and younger ones. They say growing up is a scam. They said nobody ever told us that life was going to be tough. They told us that when we grew up, everything, we just wanted independence. We hated the fact that our parents were controlling our lives. They're like, oh, wow, how we long to go back to our parents' houses where everything was being done for us. So guys, please listen now. Enjoy this time where you don't have to pay rent. You don't have to worry about bills. You don't have to worry about the pressures of life, your security and all that. Take this time to build yourself up so that when you go out there, like the book says, you will meet life and you'll be able to confront it with confidence. You'll be able to confront it with skill, and you'll be able to know how to get through the tough times without falling and having problems like many other people do. So, all right, Miss ANIGHORO, do you have anything to say about what Pastor Bose said before she goes on?
Yeah, I'm so thrilled that she captured that and she could see that. I'm really so excited because that is actually the baseline of the book, maximizing your teenage years. That's because I see that period as a foundation. And if I should just follow what she said, when I was a teenager, I could read 3 books in a day. But wow. Today, tell me to read 1 book in a day with husband, wife, children. It's such a struggle to do that now. So you have this period, this time in your life where you can really begin to, because if you don't take advantage of it, like I said, it's about building a skeleton, an anchor. If you don't use that time to develop it, life will test you. When the pressures come, you'll be wishing you to go back to your parents' house, and they are not ready to have you back because you need to go and face life.
Oh, they're enjoying their freedom. They want you to go.
They want you to go. They don't need you back.
Yeah, that's correct. All right, so back to you, Pastor Bose. Which other principles would you like to point us to that you think teenagers need to imbibe that would help set them up for life and that will help stop them from falling prey to the vultures and to the wolves out there?
You know, when we talk about teenagers, I think one of the first topics that come to mind is peer pressure. So I like the way, she didn't really use the word peer pressure too much, but I like the way she encouraged girls to celebrate their difference, their uniqueness, you know. Dare to be different, celebrate your difference, be able to, you know, because the law of difference, you know, because those are the things that really make us, you know, heroes. The ability to be different, to know what you want, and if the occasion calls for you, you know, being different from the other people, the inner strength, the stamina to be different, and to understand that you have to be different because you are really different. You are born at a different time, you know, your DNA is different, your fingerprint is different. God has put a lot of things in you that makes you different, and it's because you are different that we know you and we know who to come to when there are certain things to do. You have a different gifting, you have a different calling, because for girls it's very important because there's a part of girls that we want to do everything together. We want to go to the toilet together. We want to go shopping together. You know, we are more like people compared to men, right? Most men naturally, if they don't work on themselves, they are more like introverts. You know, a major percentage of them are more introvert. They're on their own. They are less communicative, but women, they are more prone to, you know, relationship, all those things. But also, a lady should know when to be different, when to celebrate our difference, and when things are going against our values, you know, when things are going against our passion, she should be strong enough to say, I am different, I have a different calling, and just celebrate that difference, because that brings beauty, that brings victory, that brings success.
Exactly. All right, fantastic. Ms. ANIGHORO, do you want to piggyback on that?
Exactly, because having a consciousness, having that at your consciousness can make you stand alone, even when every other person is going another direction. Yeah. And like Pastor Bose said, a lot of girls, it's like they can't stand alone, they can't function on their own. But you are unique and you are different. And if you don't recognize it, you will want to look like somebody else. And it's that attempt to be like somebody else that we lose ourselves. When you are trying to be like somebody else, you are not going to discover who you are. You will lose your own identity. So, encouraging the girl child to embrace that uniqueness, knowing that you are created as a masterpiece and there is no one like you. So don't try to be somebody else. Yes, there are things we want to, learn from people. There are things we want to copy from people, which are good. But to actually see a girl just changing her entire appearance or her entire identity to fit into the image of somebody else, you have just destroyed your life. So, and a lot of people that are kind of fixated on brands is because they have not discovered their own uniqueness. And when you have not discovered your own uniqueness, you want to be a brand, you want to be every other brand. Be your own brand. You be your own brand and be unique in yourself. Just be your own brand. Be you and do you. So I wanted the young girl to, really have that ingrained in their mind that, yes, it's okay to be you. You don't have to do it like anybody else. Just be you.
Amazing. I agree with what you guys said. I've witnessed it myself because I was in school. I'm a guy. I've had girlfriends in the past. Thank God for saving me. Glory to God. But you see, those things you said about people, peer pressure and wanting to blend in and wanting to be like everybody else, is almost par for the course once you get into school. Because it's almost like you restrict yourself from being different. You want to stop anything that makes you stand out, and you want to just conform and be like everybody else. But that's the opposite of what we're supposed to be. And when you say there's no one like you, it reminded me of the song that we sing in church, Covenant Keeping God, there's no one like you. Funny enough, he created us to be the exact same way, but we now go in the opposite direction and we say, no, we want to be like everybody else and we want to abandon our God nature, which makes us unique. So I believe that that's a lesson that every one of us needs to learn, that embrace your difference, work on your difference, develop your difference, because that is what will really make you stand out and make you to be remembered in this world long after you're gone. Pastor Bose is making a difference, and she's different from every other woman. That's why we have her on today, and that's why she's who she is. Grace is a different kind of woman, and that's why she has this product that we're celebrating and we're talking about today. Prior to this time, you were like every other person in the UK, but now you're standing out because you have a unique product. I was telling you when we're talking on phone that I've not seen a lot of books like this for teenage girls. I've seen a lot of books for ladies. We have a lot of books that help you in life, like all these motivational books, self-help books, but very few. I don't think I've seen any actually, probably because I didn't search in depth, but I've not seen any directed towards teenage girls. So I think this is going to go a long way to help a lot of young ladies to figure life out very early and help them to be prepared for what comes ahead. So I want to talk about a topic that is in one of your sections, which is something that is prevalent in the world today. There are 4 different things in one. I want to start with depression, drugs, sex, and alcohol. These are things that come together. And I was talking to a friend a couple of weeks ago, and she was telling me how she ran away from her house here in Ukraine. Why did she run away? She said she left her home to a cafe just opposite her house just to hang out and just to have a change of scenery. And she said she was looking directly at her building and she saw something drop from the top floor. So she thought it was a dress that just dropped and somebody was going to come pick it up, like when you're trying to spread the cloth or something like that. She said it was until ambulances started coming around that she realized that it was a teenage girl who she saw the day before that jumped out of the building and committed suicide. So she said she was so traumatized by what she saw that she could not go back home that day. From that cafe, she went to a friend's house and she was talking to me from that friend's house. She was saying, I'm so traumatized. I can't believe what I just saw. I saw a girl commit suicide right in front of me. She said, I saw her dropping. I thought it was just a cloth. I didn't know it was a human being. The mother was crying. The entire, community came out and nobody could really explain what had happened. And she said, I was just walking past this girl on the staircase, just a couple of days before that happened. So depression, suicide is something that is very prevalent. And here in the Ukraine, we have rehabilitation centers. And when I listen to most of these testimonies in the church of people who have been rehabilitated, they talk about how they started drinking at the age of 10, some at the age of 12, some at the age of 15. And I realized that drugs, sex, alcohol, and depression, they are things that go hand in hand. So what would you have to say about this topic, Pastor Bose, from your standpoint of being a pastor, being a minister in this sphere, and having read Mrs. Ufuoma's book, and then we'll go to Mrs. Ufuoma's approach as well. How do you think teenagers should handle these issues?
Thank you very much. I will answer your question in a moment, but I want to go back very briefly to making a difference, learning to be different. Yes, we must have our time when we are with people, but we must always learn, we must always know that we should also have time when we're alone, because it is in those alone time, those solitude time, that we can really create, we can bring out new things. What we learn from, community, from different relationships, but then we need the solitude time to digest and to create products. And also, if a girl or if women don't learn to have that alone time, then they will have problem with loneliness. And it is this loneliness that makes a lot of women to become victim, to men's prey, victims to now sex, drugs, that later leads to depression. So answering your question about this sex, alcohol, and the drugs, and then of course now we have depression added to it. These things are becoming more accessible with years. They've always been there. But with globalization, things are just like knowledge is becoming more accessible. So all these things are becoming more accessible. And because our generation, we are like a microwave generation. We've forgotten what it means to wait. We've forgotten that there is the law of sowing and reaping, and there is time between sowing and reaping. We want everything straight away. So, sex gives you immediate gratification, right? Drugs, alcohol, they gives you that, you get that feeling immediately, but also after some times you return to square one from where you started. Whereas if you have practiced delayed gratification, the pleasure is spread over a long time. So we are living in denial. We want things very fast, and unfortunately, these things are accessible, these things are celebrated, and but it comes back to the question of knowledge, it comes back to the question of insight, it comes back to the question of training at home, practical training, because I know we have this experience in our church, we call it school ministry, where we go to school and we show videos of what smoking can cause to your lung and to your overall health. We show them videos of former drug addicts with their rotting hands, veins, rotting leg, and if a child get that picture, it will help some on a long run, to know what they are heading for. So we have to, we don't need to just tell them, don't do this. We have to prove it to them. We have to show a lot of examples, and we don't need to lie to them about it. Yes, you will get immediate gratification, but it will cost you much more than what you get. So, so think about it. Just like the Bible says, there are two ways. There's the narrow way, and there's the wide way. So sex, smoking, drugs, alcohol, those are the wide way. And at the end, what do you get? Nothing. You get destroyed health. You get loneliness, because it's so paradoxal that friends, they encourage you to drink. They encourage you to be cool by smoking, or you've not tried this narcotics, you're not cool. But then when you become worn out, when you can no longer stand, When you are no longer, attractive, they will leave you.
Yeah.
They would leave you. So it's very important for us really to open people's eyes, because these friends you are trying to sacrifice a lot for, because smoking, drinking, just to be in a certain circle is a huge sacrifice. And these people you are trying to sacrifice for, they will leave you. And then at the end, what do you find? Destroyed health, loneliness, depression, and finally, a cheap death.
Wow, that was very insightful. I like the fact that you spoke about the source of some of these problems, and then you went on to talk about the consequences, because a lot of people don't realize that it is due to some of these issues that they have on the inside that they now turn to substances. A lot of people think it's just from the external, but it's from the inside that the damage is done, and then whatever comes later is just a consequence. All right, Ms. Ufuoma, over to you, please.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Pastor Bose is helping me to really bring these things out, because the thing about practicing to be alone is something that I teach a lot of, even in the club, is something I teach, because I noticed that in your aloneness is also a place of discovery. In your aloneness is a place of identifying yourself for who you are. And when a girl cannot stand being alone, you are just set up for disaster. Because a lot of that is where peer pressure comes in. When your identity is always with people, then you are not single. You don't have an identity of your own. And that FOMO, fear of missing out, oh, let me join them. Oh, let me do this. Oh, she did her hair like this. Let me go and do her hair. You are always under pressure. So because of that, you will be influenced easily. So I practice being alone and get used to it now, because there will be situations in life where you will find yourself alone. And most people, because they have not imbibed that value of being alone in themselves, in fact, there are some people that will boast that, every Saturday I must go to a party. If I don't go to a party, I can't leave. Because they cannot just stand being alone. In this period of COVID-19, do you know how many people have died because of depression? Because they are not used to being alone.
True.
It's a big issue, and it's something that I stress for young girls. Practice aloneness. If you practice aloneness, because a lot of them, I'm bored. I'm like, you have so much to do. What are you getting bored for? because we are, like Pastor Bose said, it's a microwave generation. Everything is instant. Everything is accessible. So they don't know the process. They can't wait for things. They just believe that everything should be at their beck and call. But if you consciously start to practice that, it will set you up for success in life. Because life is not always about the instant gratification. It's a process. There's time. You learn to wait. You learn to build that capacity to wait for things. Because that is what will serve you better in longer run. But if you are the one that will just be good, because of FOMO, you want to be here, they call you here, you are there, they say try this, you are there, you will get, like what Pastor Bose said, if you use because of the influence of other people to do the things that you are not supposed to do, you sacrifice yourself. When you destroy yourself and nobody will be there for you. They will leave you and go to the next person.
Yeah, to go from FOMO to Oyo, you'll be on your own.
Yes, it's something that I really stress. Have your alone time, practice it. When I tell them, when we do during the school time, I tell them to have a personal timetable. I tell them to create on that timetable that free period, that free time where they are alone. Whatever you want to do, if you are just sitting, you're reading, you're praying, but just be alone. Let mom know. Let mom have a copy of your timetable, so that they know that this time you are just there. You're on your phone. You're not. Just practice being alone.
Fantastic.
You've answered. Early, they'll get used to it.
You've answered the question I was going to ask next, because I wanted to ask the next question: that what are you going to tell people who cannot be alone due to the fact that they claim it's very depressing? They're like, it's so boring being alone. It's like, why would I want to be alone? And due to this COVID-19, we can see that people really don't know how to be alone. In fact, depression is said to have caused a lot more damage than the COVID-19 virus itself.
Exactly.
And it's on the rise, and it's not even stopping anytime soon, because it has set in a lot of people and they're finding it difficult to come out of it. But I like the fact that you're giving us practical solutions. Draw yourself a timetable, talk to your parents about it, and begin to do things productively, one step at a time on your own. Because without learning to be alone, you would always be at the mercy of the peer pressure. You always be at the mercy of other people who are negative forces, and you will hardly be influenced by good people when you're that insecure. That's the funniest thing. It would have been great if you were insecure and you were brought into the light and into the good things and into, purpose and all that. But it's mostly in the wrong direction. People always end up going the wrong way. So guys, this book is going to help educate you on how to be alone, how to build your personality up and be somebody who is not just tossed to and fro with every, new trend or with every new thing that is being done out there. You'll be able to make informed decisions for yourself. You'll be able to really stand your ground when people try to push you in the wrong direction. So get this book, $1.99. The link is up there. You need to have it for yourself. You need to have it for your friends. In fact, you need to start your own ladies group. Probably you're passionate about young girls like Mrs. Grace. Please start your own group. You can use this book as a manual to start teaching young people. Once you imbibe the knowledge into yourself and you gain the insight, like Pastor Bose said, you can begin to teach other young girls around you, because there are young girls everywhere, no matter where you are, in Europe, in America, in Africa. In fact, in Africa, we need this a lot, because we're still a patriarchal society where men are given preference a lot more than the ladies, and it shouldn't be so. So ladies need to be taught that they are more than their looks, that they are confident, they can have values, they can do whatever they need to do. So ladies, please, this book is something that we all need to get. And guys listening to me, please do yourselves a favor, get these books for the ladies so that it will help build a better society, because as men, we need women to be as strong as well. We don't need to be the only ones who are strong. We need strong women in our society for it to function more coherently and more productively. So I think we've come to the end of the show for today, and we'll just take final words from Pastor Bose and from the author, and then we'll be going, or else we can stay here for the next couple of hours discussing this topic. And I can assure you that we will not get tired. So please.
Before Pastor Bose says, I wanted to read one of the reviews I got that was really touching for me. It's from a young lady of 20. I won't read everything. I just highlighted the place that really caught my attention. She said, "In Hey Girl, I found myself going through a number of emotions. The most prevalent one being absolute joy. Because now I feel like I can approach my life with confidence in myself." Amazing. And what I have to offer to the world. My favorite chapter has to be chapter 11, A Girl and Her Values, because I was actually going through a situation whilst reading this chapter, and it gave me what I can only describe as a light bulb moment. In only a few words, my situation had an answer, and I think that is a testament to the power of this book, that it can get so many people through the problems that they may be going through day to day with these gems that I believe can literally stick with you for life. It's as if I have an auntie or older sister who knows exactly what I'm going through in a book. Wow. You can genuinely feel the concern and love flowing through the page. And I can just tell that Grace really wants all young women to flourish and succeed in whatever they do. When she was telling me about this, because she was so slow in getting through the book, and something was happening in the family, and I was like, "Have you finished the book?" She was like, "Auntie, have you finished the book?" I said, "Don't ask me any question, because whatever you are going through now, you will see it in that book." And I gave her a challenge. I said, "This weekend, come back and tell me that you have read the book." And she was like, I was crying, Auntie. I was just crying as I was reading it. I said, I knew there was no reason you should have been going through this if you had read the book before now. So when she gave me that review, I was really thankful, and I felt so fulfilled, and I needed to share that. Amazing.
I believe you get a lot more reviews like that by the time the book is officially out, because I don't think anybody can read this book and remain the same. I'm a man, and I read the book, and I can tell you I was just flabbergasted by the lessons that I learned. I was so happy with the lessons that I learned. In fact, I'm still writing and going through some of them, because I believe they will help me in the future to handle young ladies and to be able to coach a lot of people who will come in with some of the challenges that you're speaking about, because every girl is going to have the challenges you spoke about. So I'm happy that I have answers for them. And even if I'm not a lady, I have answers. How about that? So over to you, Pastor Bose. Please tell us your final take before we leave today.
Yes, I will say three things, and that will be it. The first, we didn't talk about social media, which was also addressed in the book, and it also comes under the FOMO, fear of missing out. There are so many information and things are happening every day, so there is no way you won't miss out. It's so wide information. things happening all over the world. So I think we have to accept that we will miss out, but we have to decide for ourselves what are the important things for us, the important news, the important information we need, and we go after those informations. We check certain websites, we listen to certain channels, because we'll miss out. We have to accept that. So choose what you won't miss out on. Also, what do you do when you are alone? What do you do when it seems it is boring? You see, we've not been taught to think, and because of the pressure of Africa, we didn't have time to think. And it's very difficult to be successful without thinking. And we are, in Africa, most of the societies are backward because we don't think a lot. But during those aloneness times, solitude time, is a wonderful time to think about your life, to think about what you do every day, and ask yourself the hard questions. Do I like this? Is this what I want? Okay, if I like it, good. How can I improve on it? If I don't like it, okay, how do I get out of it? Create a plan of getting out of it in 6 months, in 2 years. If there's a hard conversation that needs to take place, prepare for the hard conversation. So there are a lot of things to do when during your alone time, or at least you can sleep to recuperate, to regain your strength, to fantasize, to dream. So those are the things we can do. And my final word will be the also in the book, which is like the final chapter. You also spoke about the girl and her family relationship. Because most teenagers, they also have problems with their parents, and they think the problem is with their parents. That is, the parents don't understand them. But you help the girls to also take responsibility, to know that they have a part to play. It takes two to create a reunion and to have a wonderful communication. So it's very important for girls also to know at any stage in life that they have something to contribute to creating a great, wonderful relationship with, their family, with their parents. And as my last word, I just want to thank you, for bringing forth this product, for going all the way, for giving this gift to our generation, because it's full of stuff. And Pastor Joshua was saying every chapter is like a training. Yes, you can do webinar from every chapter. Every chapter is a strong topic that needs to be dissected, that needs to be digested. It's really a good stuff, a worthy stuff. It doesn't have a lot of water, but it has a lot of stuff. So thank you for believing in girls. Thank you for being vocal about that. And I pray that many girls will read this book, and I pray that it will help them to translate, to transform their knowledge into insight. And that way we have more liberated women able to fulfill their role in the society, thereby making our world a better place. Thank you, Pastor Joshua. Thank you, Miss Grace.
Thank you so much.
Very much, Pastor Bose. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
So, Ms. ANIGHORO, it's over to you. You can say as much as you want to Pastor Bose and onward.
I'm so glad. I'm so thrilled, and I must say that I'm truly grateful also to Pastor Sunday for helping me come into myself, for helping me discover myself. And like I said about Pastor Bose, she is a role model. She's a strong woman, and her life inspires me. And I wanted her to be here because she's a mother, and also a mother to teenagers. And I know that she has a wealth of wisdom. And I just believe that we need more strong women in society, and we need to really put together to always remember to reach back to those teenagers, not to just let them be. I tell mothers that even though that young girl is trying to show you that she's an adult, she's confident, she can be. She don't be too quick to let go. Don't be too quick to release your hand. Just let it be there, so that when she reaches out, she can still touch your hand and know that you are there. We should always be in their corner. And I also want to encourage mothers, don't be the only voice in the life of your daughter, because if there's anything a lot of girls do is that sometimes they would think they are protecting you when they don't want to talk to you. They think that they don't want to hurt you, so they don't want to come to you to share some things. So I want to, in this book, I'm also trying to be there in their corner as somebody that they can relate with. So build a circle of other women so that when they are in that place where they need to talk and it's not you, they can meet somebody to talk to, because it is for the lack of not being able to speak out that a lot of them get into anxiety, into depression, and into bad influence. People that will advise them wrongly to do the wrong things. So we need to be there. We need to, and Pastor Bose Pastor Joshua has said it over and over again. Get this book for that girl. No matter, even if you think that you don't need it, every girl around you should have this book, because I believe that when the foundation for her is right, she will become a strong woman, and our world indeed will become a better place. Thank you, Pastor Bose, for honoring me to be here today. I'm truly grateful. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Pastor Bose. We're privileged to have had you today. We're so happy. We've learned a lot. I believe that the things we've said, we need to go back and watch them over and over again so that we can really understand them. We can turn them into insight, and we can practice them and become much better people. So thank you very much for coming. We look forward to having you again sometime soon. Bye for now. All right. To our author and our guest, Mrs. ANIGHORO, thank you very much for this product. I know Pastor Bose has said that to you already, but I want to thank you especially on the behalf of somebody who has a sister who saw her struggle with some of the things that you spoke about, in spite of how great my household was and how good my parents were. And I believe that this will go a long way to save a lot of young ladies and help a lot of mothers with their kids, and to help to transform society. I was talking to somebody a few days ago, and I said just one person who is not treated right in the family can cause so much untold pain in society. I said, imagine if a prostitute, for example, on the street was well brought up by her dad and by her mom. That would stop her from taking advantage of a lot of men. I said, if a man was well raised, he's not going to be preying on women. He's not going to be an abuser. He's not going to be a drug pusher. He's not going to be a criminal. So just one person helps to change the entire stratosphere in a society, the entire atmosphere in a society. I said, when you go to prisons, you see people just like yourself, just because they didn't have the privilege of this knowledge you're sharing, of good parents, of good values, of a good environment. They went the wrong way and they did damage. Some caused murder, some they eliminated entire families. Some people eliminated entire bank industries just because of the selfishness and the pain they feel on the inside that they wanted to transfer to the world. So thank you very much for giving teenagers a solution to how they can, get through their teenage years with joy, with pleasure, and become strong women in society. Men, you need to get this book for yourselves as well. And every single person listening, you must have this book. It should be one of the books in your library. It should be a go-to book whenever girls come to you asking you for solutions. Don't just give them the microwave thing. Make them read this book. Don't just tell them, oh, I learned this from this book, so you can use it. No, let's make our young people begin to read. And I believe that they will be much better for it. So, Ms. ANIGHORO, we look forward to your next book. We look forward to your next initiative. We believe that it's upwards and forwards from here on out. Thank you very much for coming. And
thank you so much.
All the best with the book sales. We believe that people would buy it, and I hope that they really, 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 do their best with it to make sure that the lessons in it are maximized. So thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. So guys, that was Mrs. Ufuoma Grace ANIGHORO from the United Kingdom, and with a guest appearance from Pastor Bose. I believe that you enjoyed yourself. The things that were spoken about today are not things you will hear every day. So please make sure you share this link with your friends and get the book, Hey Girl, written by Mrs. Grace Ufuoma ANIGHORO. And I believe that you would not remain the same. And we should always expand our knowledge. Look to expand your knowledge. Look to learn more. Whatever challenge you're going through is because there is, or whatever suffering, that you're going through in life, except it's something that is beyond your control, is due to the fact that there's something you don't know. So you can live a better life than you're living right now, and it's out of your reach just because there's a lot more information that you're yet to get. So engage in reading books. DSA has a slew of them. Go on Amazon Kindle, and you will see all of DSA's books. You can read them from who am I, why am I here, discovering your purpose, to understanding time management. This is one of the things that is spoken about also in Hey Girl by Mrs. Grace. And you can go on his YouTube channel as well, Dr. Sunday Adelaja, and you will see a slew of topics, from discovering yourself to time management to money creation to prayer to reading your Bible to knowing God. So from the spiritual to the physical to the financial, you would understand how to, in fact, one of the best I like is about leadership. If you're passionate about leadership, you can learn how to be an effective leader, effective concepts. If you want to learn how to change your society, how to be a social engineer, you can learn that from that place. To learn how to be a good ambassador of the kingdom of God, you can learn it on DSA's YouTube channel. You can learn it from his book. So you have tools, guys. You can transform this knowledge into insight and make yourself into the person that God wants you to be. So there is a unique mentorship group aside from that of Who Am I that I spoke about earlier, and it's Becoming a Millionaire. Finance is important. And Jim Rohn said it's not just about it's not just about the money you make, but it's about what it makes you into when you accomplish that amount of money, or when you get to that amount of money. For somebody to be able to be worth $1 million, you must create value that is worth as much, if not more. So becoming a millionaire is something that takes values, virtues. You're supposed to control money. Money is not supposed to control you. These are some of the principles that you're going to learn. Money is not supposed to be spent. So a lot of people believe that money is meant to be spent. A lot of people think they can just work hard and that will bring about money. But just hard work is not enough. There's a step-by-step process that Dr. Sunday is going to take you through that will help you to become wealthy. And when you go through this process, you become a millionaire, you become a person of value, you become a person who is financially stable and able to really help and change the world. I've seen a lot of people who say, oh, I wish I could give this person this, I wish I could help with this, I wish I could do that, but I don't have the money. You can have the money. Those who are millionaires don't have two heads. Those who are millionaires are not smarter than you. I can assure you that those who have become millionaires, they're not the smartest people in the world. In fact, I did a research some time back and I realized that most of the millionaires and billionaires were not the smartest people in their classes, but they were able to understand the principles of wealth creation, and that brought about wealth. So join this group right now. Just write to mentorship@godembassy.org and you'll be welcomed into the group. You'll be given instructions, and as you follow them religiously, I believe that you will have the results thereof. So don't forget, you can go to DSA's YouTube channel. You can go on Kindle to get his books on Amazon. You can go to DSA's Books Planet if you're in Africa, Nigeria to be precise, and you see all of his books there. You can go to bambooks.io as well, and you will see all of DSA's books. Once you subscribe, you're able to read everything as much as you can. So those of you who think that being alone is so bad, you've heard it today that being alone is one of the best things you can ever get. So if you have a lot of free time on your hands, even if you don't have, make sure you're adding value to yourself every day. And all of these books, all of these materials have been made available for you to be able to do that. The DSA app is about to be launched, guys. So get ready for that. Stay tuned. It's going to be coming to a phone. It's going to be coming to you very soon, and you can download it on your phones. You can download it on your iPads, on your tablets. And this is something that is a really unique product that will bring to you everything DSA. You will not have to go through different places to get all of the news and all of the informations and all of the messages from DSA. You'll be able, it's a one-stop shop for all things DSA. And it's going to come with a special academy in it as well that will help take you to a process of learning. That will help improve you, that will help increase you, that will help turn you into a person of value that your society will celebrate and that heaven will also celebrate. So get ready for this app. Make sure you download it as soon as it's ready. It's going to be free of charge. So stay tuned, share it with your friends. Make sure everybody you know downloads it so that they can maximize the things in it, and it will in turn help them to be the best that they can be. All right, I'm Joshua AMATARE. Thank you very much for joining us today. Hope you had a great time. We're going to be back same time next week, 7 p.m. Ukraine time, 5 p.m. UK time and Nigerian time. And I believe that we'll have such a unique and great time once again. Till then, take charge, keep improving yourself, keep being dominant in your world. Never agree to be a victim. Remain victorious. Stay on the front foot. Keep pushing. And I believe that you'll be victorious, and we will keep taking our world for God to his glory and to our own pleasure as well. Because as you do what God wants you to do, there's no greater feeling than that. Till next week, God bless you. Bye for now.